For the past 10 minutes, I've been seriously trying to remember how to pronounce the name of this ancient historical city in Korea.
Gyeongju.
Exactly, and it is here students from all over the country come to flock so that they can learn all about this pond, which is the
Anapji or Donggung Wolji.
That's exactly what I said. So here, whether day or night, you get to see a whole outdoor museum. And back in the Silla Dynasty, this is where they had grand banquets and they would entertain all their foreign visitors, just like myself. Wow, this place is amazing. I mean, when you think of traditional, you're thinking kind of old, but they've made this place, yeah, old, but really new. And right behind me is their local TV station. I guess this place is quite popular. Actually, I see it in cable, a rerun. So it's a Korean local TV station. They're doing some taping over here and they're featuring this place. So I gotta give my sister a big thumbs up for choosing such a beautiful accommodation. Very local, very traditional, still feeling kind of new. Awesome. Hi everyone! Sorry, my mom and I can't stop laughing because my sister is learning how to pan the camera from right to center. So this is a traditional room from, sorry, I keep laughing. Okay, so back in the Silla Dynasty, so they would have houses like this in Hanok village, and they would all be sleeping on the floor. So if you want to have that truly Korean experience of how it is to live back in those days, this is the kind of room that you book. And these are our beds, which we thought we were going to be laid for us when we entered, but apparently it is DIY. You do it yourself, okay? Yeah, oh yeah, and so they're saying that in the winter, if you're feeling really cold, that underneath the floors, it will be a heater, so you turn this on. But if you don't want to turn that on, we also have an air conditioner, so you still have all the modern amenities. In fact, we even have a room service, and you can have Italian pizza. See? Just like we have our TV. So, my sister was able to choose, well, there are actually many choices that you can choose from, and my sister wanted to book a room for 3. This is a room for 3. So, you know, again, as for one night, that's right. So my sister is saying, you know, it is just worth the experience. It is very quaint, and it's really exciting that we're going to experience this today. I will let you guys find out in the morning how that went. Ta-da! Triple sharing, Hanok-style. This is the kind of mask that I prefer to wear. It's just as scary, right? Okay, it's black because it's made of charcoal. Now our tour guide was really nice enough to hand these out as a little gift to us, because as you know, the Koreans are really like world leaders when it comes to skincare. So this is charcoal, whitening, hydrating, all the ings. All the ings for we've had such a long day, tiring day, so this is just relaxing and definitely very scary, so it's something for you to visualize as you go to bed at night. So yeah, very nice experience, very sexy. So from South Korea, have a good night everyone. Mwah. Good morning guys. So we woke up and Arira was filming something. Actually, the crew is just leaving right now. And I have to admit, I have a bit of a stiff neck, I guess because I'm used to sleeping with pillows, but it was such a nice experience because my mom, my sister, and I, we treated it as like we had a little slumber party wearing our own Korean face masks. And then this morning we enjoyed a really nice Korean traditional breakfast, topped off with some good coffee. my daughter's birthday. So hopefully, no, not hopefully, I'm claiming it for good life, prosperity, and happiness. So, 1, 2, 3, and oh. That was strong. So that was a strong birthday wish. So we are at the very top of the hill to see the grotto, and we're gonna see a very big giant Buddha that's made of granite. And this apparently was one of the big projects of the Silla Dynasty. So this is one of the things to do here in Gyeongju. Gotta get that right. Gyeongju, the ancient city of Gyeongju, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So here in the grotto, you're going to see a lot of ancient stones that are cordoned off. So apparently only monks can sit here, so they can sit down and meditate. And it's believed that all these stones still carry the energy of the family from the Silla Dynasty. And that's why there's a saying, you know, of these walls could talk. It really goes to show that whether it be a hospital, whether it be a home, there's a lot of energy, healing, whether it be sadness, all these different emotions that you can feel from nature. For the record, you need 108 steps to get all the way to the very top. Unfortunately, photos are not allowed. And the big Buddha made of granite is all the way inside. So speaking of granite, that's really, really heavy. So they're all wondering, how is it that they're able to bring up such a large, heavy statue all the way up there? Well, that brings us to the big question, how are the pyramids completed, right? Magic. So I just learned today that whenever you visit a Buddhist temple, you actually enter 3 gates. I never realized that. So the first gate is to signify the secular world. We all belong in a secular world, like the man's world. And then when you get to the second gate, there are Hindi gods, like Hindi warriors, and it's their job to protect Buddha. And once you've reached the second gate, you get to the very end. Although I'm not quite sure if there's always 108 steps to get to Buddha, obviously it's always at the very end where you will get to reach enlightenment. So it's this temple that was the second great project of the Silla Dynasty. So it's basically within the same compound as the grotto, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing that this whole city, this ancient city, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I mean, usually, like our tour guide was saying, it's like in Kyoto. You know, everybody knows Kyoto in Japan, and you might have heard of it, that there's just so many UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the whole of Kyoto. Pockets of them. But it is only here in Gyeongju, that right again, where it's the actual city. The whole city is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So she was saying that that is absolutely rare. I believe so. I think that's absolutely mind-blowing. So our tour guide was asking me, where do you go when you're depressed or when you're sad or you need some kind of healing? Where do Filipinos go? And I said, well, of course, they always seek prayer, and more often than not, they go to church. They go to all their many churches in the country. And she was saying that a lot of Koreans, that even if they don't practice Buddhism all too much, they still like to come to a Buddhist temple so that, you know, it makes them feel better. Well, I think that, of course, it makes sense, because I think it's not even about religion. It's about anything that you believe in. You want to put something tangible into it. It makes it feel more real. So sometimes you have to actually see something and touch something in order to manifest something that we're hoping for. But really what it is our reality is what we create in our mind. It's just the problem is we don't have that discipline yet in our mind to try and just realize it doesn't matter where we are, church, temple, or no temple, just sitting, standing still exactly where you are. You create that own fortress in your mind. Damn. Sometimes I have all these emo thoughts and I'm thinking, girl. Do you guys have those moments too where you are just so deep in thought and you're like, daming hugot today, yeah. Well, usually I never record these things because I tend to write them down. And then I decided for a change, why don't we verbally document all these weird shenanigans I put in my head? So it's just absolutely mind-blowing that knowing that this park is actually, well, essentially, technically, a glorified graveyard, because all these mounds that you see, I used to think that they were just all these little nice mountains or hills. In fact, they kind of remind me of the chocolate hills like they have in the Philippines, but they are actually tombs. So right behind me, yeah, so that's a tomb, that's a tomb, that's another tomb. So there's so many of them. There's about 150 all around. And they are the tombs of the kings and queens from the Silla Dynasty, which is about, a tour guide was saying, about the 7th century in Korea. And it was during this dynasty that they were able to unite the whole peninsula. Essentially, it's what we know today as North and South Korea. So once upon a time, they were united. And it was only after the Korean War when we've come to know as we know as North Korea and South Korea. I wonder what it's like to walk here at night. Apparently you can come in here at night and walk and take a nice stroll. You know, I guess when they say, you know, when you come to Earth, when you're born into this world, you go back into the Earth when you die. This sure gives a whole new meaning to that. Oh, and our tour guide was also saying that a lot of these tombs, I keep saying mountains, a lot of these tombs, because of erosion, wind, rain, and all the earthly elements, so sometimes they decrease in size. But because this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and of course it's also taken care of by the government, they make sure that they're able to maintain the appearance. So we always have a lot of workers, we were told, like right now that we can see. So just making sure that everything is well kept and looking well manicured. Pretty cool. It's so cool and creepy at the same time. Like you would never think that underneath a mound of earth you have this. So actually in this particular tomb they found like 147 artifacts, I believe. It belonged to the king. It belonged to one of the kings from the Silla Dynasty. So there's a crown, there's like a belt with pendants and all these other ornaments. But that is the main grave. So in a way, kind of seeing that reminds me of the terracotta warriors from Xi'an, China, where everything was under the ground and they discovered all these artifacts. And in a way, this is also another version of like the Egyptian pyramids, but instead it's like little hills. It's so cool, like with every country or every culture that you go to, there's just so many different ways that they view life, they view love, in this case they view death, or the beginning of another life as they enter whatever it is they believe in, whether it be the afterlife. Pretty interesting. So right behind me is the most and the largest tomb, I guess, of the greatest king among all of them. Unfortunately, it is also closed and you can't go in. But given how big it is, I think you guys have an idea of how important he was.